What's up, guys? Welcome back. I'm going to spend a little time over the holiday break talking about the San Francisco 49ers and Shanahan, his play calling. I don't know how much you guys watch. I know it's kind of the new rave, kind of like McVay was the past couple years. But really, I want to focus on looking at his play calling, what he bases his structure off of, talking about understanding like little nuances he creates using the same blocking schemes, as well as some of the little things that he does that kind of exploit his best players and putting them in space, like George Kittle. So to start this off, the first thing I need to do is you guys need to understand that Shanahan is a Kubiak guy, and that is a wide zone base offense. Now, he runs gap scheme, he runs trap and power, but for the most part, he likes to predominantly stay inside zone, wide zone, mid zone. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you the basic stuff right now. This is the Carolina Panthers a couple weeks ago. And I want to talk about how he runs the wide zone. You notice this formation, that these squeeze formations have become quite popular in the NFL. And really what this is a lot of people do this because it creates extra gaps. This is actually an unbalanced formation. So a defense has to treat this like an unbalanced formation. If they don't, then they're going to lose out on a gap. And it's pretty simple by looking and just simply by counting gaps. If I fast forward this thing to the end zone camera, you can see the gaps. I got a gap, 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 I got a gap. That's 6 gaps to one side, and that's by far the true definition of unbalanced. So really what we're trying to get you to understand is that it really doesn't – what they're doing is they're just trying to get you in a situation where you're going to have to overload to a side, and then they're going to try to make you adjust on the quick with the motions. I'll come back later and talk about the Ravens and how the Ravens are doing it, but basically for the most part, they're just trying to add gaps and gain gaps as quickly as possible. Now, when they send the guy in motion, the Rams were really popular for this. Send the guy in motion. All they're trying to do is they're trying to get linebackers to bump over, and they're trying to hold 1.5 guys with that motion. So what they're going to do is they're going to run wide zone to the right here, and they're going to send this guy in motion. If you can see what their goal is they're going to try to hold 1.5 guys. Now, reality doesn't work because that defensive end does a good job of squeezing and feathering through. Quarterback's got to hold the D in on boot. Doesn't really do a great job of it, but let's explain what's happening right here. So by creating an unbalanced look, you've created this already horizontal flow, and all they're doing is they're just trying to work themselves to their first backers. Everything bumped over, okay? Everything bumped over. So really what the key point of understanding is this safety that comes down into the box right here is completely unaccounted for. So what they're doing is they're comboing, okay? And I want to show you from the end zone here so you can get a better view of it. They're going to go ahead and move this thing out. They're going to move this guy, and they're going to motion him as quickly as possible, okay? Which is going to bump the linebacking core over. So now you have this guy right here who's going for the safety. It should be 47. I believe he screws this up because they're usually going to try to get the first force defender. You kind of treat it like the veer teams treat who they block and who they don't block, cover 2 or cover 4. Same thing here. The point man should have taken 47. So the reality of it is now this guy is going to send him. This guy's going to go in motion. He's going to take care of that safety here. This guy is going to slice across, and he's in charge of that defensive end. Now, combos from there start. So you should have a solo block one right here. We've got a combo block from that nose guard to the middle linebacker, and we're working this combo from that defensive tackle nose guard to the backside linebacker. I'm getting this guy held with the motion. This guy's getting held with the slice, and this guy should be blocked by the point man, but they didn't do a very good job of it. You can kind of see it from here. So as you see, they're not trying to hook the edge. They're just trying to push the edge. Notice that the hips of the offensive lineman never actually try to out-leverage the defensive lineman. If you watch the right tackle right here, he does a great job of keeping his head. Now his head placement is be outside, but his hips are backside so he can push this guy past the play. Notice the front side combo is actually really good. They're going to open themselves up 1, 2, 3. He's going to give a shove. He knows he can't get him in 3. He climbs, gets the backer, and he's going to wall that guy off. Now, the problem he ran into was number 77 here. He didn't get run off because of the bad head placement by that left guard. That left guard should have got his head to the play side nipple. Left tackle knew he had no chance to get that one or that shade, so he's going to take 1, 2, 3 and climb. 1, 2, 3, climb. He's going to climb to that guy. By 54, taking the outside release on this play right here, by taking the outside and over the top look, he's totally getting himself in a bad situation. There's no way either one of these two guys can make a play. Now, notice how wide the wide zone pushes. Again, he should be aiming for the inside foot of that guy right there. So his aiming point should be right where my mouse is at right now. That's where the running back should end up. And then on his fifth step, puts his foot in the ground and gets vertical. And you can watch how the play develops. Okay, it's a really great play. It's a successful play. It's a Shanahan. It's a schematic. It is a base play for them. Now, let's talk about the Bangles. I believe this is week 2 of the year, which is fine. Now, again, you're going to get different formation. You're going to get different formation here, but same concept. This time he's doing it out of an I formation, double tight I. All they're doing is they're running wide zone to the right. Now they're going to lead with the fullback on the first linebacker in the box, and they're just going to push themselves vertical, and there's your play. So let's talk about how this works from the end zone. So as you can see, all they're doing right here is they're trying to create a strength call to one side, because Shanahan, if you ever notice, Shanahan is a huge wide zone weak guy, and that is a really big deal because McVay is a wide zone strong guy. That's good to know because you can see how they're going to adjust this later. So now we know that if this fullback is going to come into the play, he's going to lead on 59. So this guy should no longer be included in what would be considered our combos. So if you exclude that guy, your combos are pretty simple. We're working these two for these two. We should have a solo block here. We're working a combo to there, and we're working here and here. Fullback is going to lead on 59. He's got the first guy in the box, the first combo. All they did was bump these guys over. If there was no fullback in this play, then what would happen was then the first combo, which would be the center backside guard, would go to the front side guy, and these guys right here would work to 52, and they would let 94. He'd let 94 go. So here's how this works. You can see how the play works. You got a solo block with the right guard. You basically have 2 solos with the right tackle and the tight end. They're working together. 1, 2, 3. As soon as they get 3, they start climbing. Right guard misses. If you notice his hips, see how his hips get past the nose guard for 3 steps? That causes a problem. A lot of people have issues with that. So, when you teach this play, you understand that your hips don't really want your hips to beat the defensive lineman. This is an outside zone. We're not trying to hook the edge. So running back is reading the first down lineman, and then he's going to read this guy, okay, and he's going to read this guy. Remember, he's aiming to the foot of the ghost tight end. He's pushing that guy right there. He knows in his first 3 steps he's not going to get outside this play. So now he's going to read 97. He see 97 got hooked. He's going to cut right off of 97's butt right there. Fullback leads through. You got yourself a nice play. Notice how they push everything horizontally, and notice how the center does a phenomenal job. Setting hard, keeping the wall, build the wall, and there's your cut. So if you look how this play works, the idea is they're going to move all 4 of these guys right here with these 4 guys. So these 4 guys are going to work everything this way. Now, that being said, the center and the left guard have cut the defense in half, and there's your cut in half right there, and you can see it. There's your cut in half. Everything got pushed front side. Everything gets cut in half back side. Now, understand this heavy flow here. It's really what it boils down to is they're flowing the defense. Okay, so it's same game, okay? Same game, different formation. Now they're just going to go trips with a wing. All they do is they motion things on and off because I think they want to decide if they want to move a guy back and forth based upon strength. So here's what I see. They're going to run wide zone to the weak side. Remember, I told you before, Shanahan's a wide zone weak guy. Okay, so you can see how they're going to work this concept here, okay? I'm going to explain how this works. So let's go back to the end zone camera. Now, easy, great. This is probably one of the best fronts to run this against. It's an easy solo block here, okay? That's an easy block. What's going to happen is because that nose guard is shaded on the center and not on the guard, these 2 are working for these 2, okay? That's simple. That means that he's basically got a solo block. That means that these 2 are working to there. He's going to cut the backside end off of whoever that C-gap player is, and there's your play. So let's talk about how this works. A lot of people talk about the cutback on wide zone and how it cuts back, but the reality of it is, look where the ball starts. It starts on the hash. As they push 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he puts his foot on the ground. Look where the cut's at. The cut happens where the tight end would be, and then he puts his foot on the ground and he cuts back, quote unquote. But cutting back just means he gets vertical 5 yards past where the ball started. Look how much horizontal displacement the 49ers offensive line gets. The center has literally moved the nose guard 7 yards to the side. That alone is impressive. But notice that he doesn't have to drive past. Notice he never tried to flip his hips in front. He's just trying to drive him by giving the illusion that they're going to try to get outside on the edge because his gap is that A gap. So Let's talk about this. Running back's going to read number 1 to number 2. Here it is. 1, 2. He knows that he's not going to get outside of this because the center does not have full reach. On his fifth steady, he's going to cut right off the center's butt. And there's your cut in the defense. Notice the cut happens with 68. So there's your cut right there. And there's your cut in your defense. Everything's flowed this way. Cut happens right there. He has to outrun the safety. Hey, 12-yard gain. It's all good. So really what I'm trying to explain to you guys, I'm trying to show you how wide zone sets up and complements everything that Shanahan does in his offense. If you ever notice, that Kyle Shanahan is going to run the ball efficiently in the first quarter. He's going to find a way, what formations, what motions, what kind of shifts he likes to be able to get the ball to run wide zone of the week. Okay, and he's going to try to create an entire system based off of that, which is really interesting. And I'm going to dive into that later during the next couple of weeks over Christmas break and Thanksgiving break. But I want you guys to see that the wide zone sets everything up, whether it's off of boots, whether it's off of the screen, whether it's off of everything else. So, for example, off of wide zone, he runs a boot concept. Off of the boot concept, he runs a screen concept off boot. And then he runs a deep play action shot off of the wide zone. And then he runs a boot keep. And then he runs a toss off the wide zone because people start pinching hard. And then he runs a delay where the tight end comes across, where a lot of people, he'll drag across the formation opposite of the call. And then sometimes they run that Y hide that everyone's become quite famous recently, where they flow one way, he boots, and the tight end comes leaking out the back end. But we're going to review all that. We're going to talk about all of that, man. I hope that helped you guys out. Again, talking about Kyle Shanahan, talking about how he's running his offense. We're going to spend the holiday break talking about it. I hope that you guys dive into it a little bit more with me. I'm going to really break it down so when you watch the 49ers, you can really see what he's trying to do. Garoppolo was the best guy for this offense because he's a phenomenal boot quarterback. He makes good decisions, and he's not a guy that's going to sit in 4 and 5 wide, pick you apart. But he is a guy that's going to be able to hand the ball off. He's going to be able to run zone. He's going to be able to run boot. And he's going to throw screens and throw his deep shots. So again, guys, please feel free, subscribe at the bottom, click the bell on the screen so that you can get notifications. I'm going to send stuff out. I'll send stuff out probably 2 or 3 times a week up until through Christmas break. Season ended for us. So I hope that helped you guys out. If you have any questions, holler at me, man. I really appreciate everything that you guys do. And I want to say thank you guys for subscribing to it and look forward to the next one. See you guys.